I'm back and you're back. I hope you really are beginning to enjoy this book, Frankenstein. So we left off where he found a little hut, and in the hut there was a hole. And so he started watching this family, which is super creepy. And he watched the old man, the brother named Felix, and the sister named Agatha. And he was watching them interact with each other and make food. We learned that this family is very poor, that they didn't have a lot to eat, because when the sister Agatha would make dinner, she would tell her brother and her father that, oh, I already ate, even though they said, you didn't eat any food. She was being very selfless by not eating food. And her brother said, no, here, eat half of mine, because he knew that she wasn't telling the truth. So the creature, don't get confused by that. Sometimes I do that. I don't want you to do that. It's the creature. Frankenstein is the scientist. So the creature began to feel very sorry for this family, and he went out and collected berries and nuts, and he would leave them on their doorstep as a surprise for them. So that's where we left off. We are now on the top of page 32. You see this picture? Let's make a little prediction. What do you think is going on here? He has mountains in the background. He's looking in the water, and he sees his face. What is that called? A reflection. He sees his own reflection. How do you think he's going to react when he sees his own face in the water? Going back to our essential question, why do people judge others by the way they look? Let's read. Months passed. Little by little, my monster taught himself to speak. He wanted to talk as well as they did. If only I can sound like them. He thought, maybe they will like me and let me stay. The creature still did not know why people were afraid of him. But then, one moonlit night, he came across a pond. He stared into it and saw his face. It was like none he had ever seen before. Not like any of those he loved. Not like any animal either. It was horrible. It made him afraid. And he hated it. And now it was looking back at him as if it wanted to kill him. Quickly, he picked up a large rock and threw it at the face in the pond. This creature had a rock, too, and it smashed. Why is he thinking that? He's looking at his reflection in the water, and a reflection is when you see yourself like a mirror. He didn't like it, so he threw a rock at it, but then he saw that he could see like himself throwing the rock in the water like a mirror, and he got scared because this creature was throwing it back at him. See, remember, this creature has no experience with life. He doesn't know anything. He's learning everything for the first time, just like a baby would. Quickly, he picked up a large rock and threw it. Oh, I already read that. I did that again, sorry. Each time it returned and did the same thing he did. Then all of a sudden, he knew the truth. He was the face. He was a monster. But why? Where did he come from? Who was his family? What kind of being was he? Top of 34. He did not know, and he had to find out. Then he remembered something about the jacket he wore, the one that had been thrown at him. There was a notebook in one of the pockets. Perhaps what was written in it would tell him the truth about himself. The monster had often watched Felix and Agatha reading aloud to their father, but he did not know how to do it. He had to learn to read. But how? For many weeks, he tried to teach himself, but it was no use. No use at all. When you say no use at all, it really means that he tried and tried and tried and couldn't do it. But then one day, Felix brought a young boy to the house. He was the son of a nearby farmer. Felix was going to teach the boy to read. Here was my creature's chance. Every day, the monster studied with the boy. Of course, the boy and Felix did not know it. The monster worked very, very hard, and soon he was able to read. At last, he took the notebook from the jacket pocket. He sat down in the moonlight and read the whole thing. Top of page 35. Everything was in it. All the work that had been done to make him. Now, at last, he knew. The book fell from his hands. His face was covered with tears. I have no father and no mother, he cried. I am not an animal or a human. I am a thing of the graveyards. I was made to be hated. I hate myself. A graveyard is a cemetery, the place where a body goes to be buried after they have passed or died. For many days and many nights, he lay in his hut. He did not go out, even to find food. He no longer watched the family through the wall. He wanted to die. But as he lay there, he began to think about the family. They were such kind and loving people. Perhaps they would not look at his face, but into his heart. And the old man was blind. He would never have to look at the monster at all. He decided to speak to the old man first. If only the old man will like me, thought my creature. Then perhaps there is still a chance for me to live and be happy like everyone else. Turn the page. Look, there's a picture of him talking to the old man. What do you think is going to happen? One day, when the father was all alone, there was a knocking at the door. Come in, said the old man. Thank you, answered the monster, and he went inside. My name is Frankenstein, he said, and I am looking for 3 friends. Who are they? Asked the old man. The kindest people in all the world, but alas, they do not know me, and I am not like anyone else. You say they are kind, replied the old man. Then it will not matter to them that you are different. But others have treated me so badly that I am afraid. Do not be, said the old man, for I can tell that you are good, and I will help you all I can. Who are these people whom you seek? The monster fell on his knees and kissed the old man's hands. It is you, he cried, you and Felix and Agatha, whom I love. Hello. So now this is the point in the story where, I got my coffee up so she didn't spill it. You can come here. This is the point in the story where the creature calls himself Frankenstein after his father, because he knows his father's name is Victor Frankenstein. So Frankenstein is his last name. So the creature now wants to have a name, just like everyone else. So he calls himself Frankenstein. So be careful through the story to know who we are talking about for the characters. All right, So this is a nice, calm talk. We turn to the next page and look. Oh no. Okay, let's see. Just then, the cottage door opened. It was the son and daughter. The creature turned to them. He wanted to say, "Please don't be afraid of me. I would die for you." But it was too late. For Agatha looked at him, then fell to the floor. Felix grabbed an axe. This is an axe. You chop wood with it. He grabbed the axe that was hanging on the wall. He swung it with all of his might. The axe then went into the monster's body. His bones cracked, and he howled with pain. But the creature got up. He pulled the axe out of his body. He raised it high over the young man's head. "Don't hurt us! Don't hurt us!" the blind man cried out. My monster stopped. He took the axe in both hands and snapped it in half. Now it was as broken as his heart. He threw down the pieces and rushed out of the cottage. "They tried to kill me," he screamed as he ran. "Those whom I love, the very ones I would have died for. They all hate me. Oh, why was I ever made? Why am I alive?" A look of anger came over his face. It was a look that would make the mountains shake in fear. "Because of Victor Frankenstein," he cried. It was then that the hatred grew in my creature's heart. A hatred that would be the cause of all horrors I am about to tell. Whew. Heavy stuff happening. All right. Okay. My daughter's playing with a toy. So, the look of anger came over his face. That just means he became really, really angry. And then hatred grew in his heart. So, when somebody treats you badly, you begin to get more and more angry. Come here. And then you start to hate people, because hate is not a good thing. I'll give you breakfast in a minute. Okay. Let me finish the questions, and I'll give you breakfast. Okay, number 1. The monster did not know the reflection in the pond was his, and he was scared of it. What did he realize when the face kept coming back? That's back at this picture right here. Reread pages 38 and 40. Why did hatred grow in the monster's heart? That's what I was just explaining to you. That's it for now.